Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well. It was snowing here in eastern Kentucky this morning. It was not fun. This beautiful little miniature painting was painted by N.M. Hiranya. She's on eBay, and this is called Color Point Short-Haired Cat. Of course, it's got to be a cat, right? But we've got a very serious informational topic we're going to discuss today because people have been asking me what I think about targeted justice. You want to know what I think about targeted justice? Well, this does not have anything to do with their lawsuit. Okay, I just want you to be informed about targeted justice. There's more than one targeted justice, folks, and I'm going to prove it to you. Okay, I don't say anything that I can't prove. You've got to understand that by now. I am a truther. Not like a lot of people in the community, and particularly these people claiming to be the #1 targeted individual place to go. Well, there are two targeted justices, okay? Here you go, folks. I'm on the IRS website, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a forewarning or, okay, this is the deal. I have a 501c3 nonprofit charity. It is a public charity. I've had my public charity since 2012. When I came into this alleged targeted community in 2017, I was the only nonprofit that I'm aware of in the community. That goes for targeted justice. That goes for Frank Allen. That goes for Ella Fraud. That goes for, I believe PACs may have just been applying for theirs. That goes for Neil and Skizit. They did not have their 501c3 nonprofit yet. Okay? Maybe they applied for it. Maybe they didn't apply for it. We'll go into that. But targeted justice was not a nonprofit when I came into the community. They were just applying for it. Now, I'm going to tell you flat out, and you know this from my interviews, if you apply for a 501c3 nonprofit, until you receive the determination letter from the IRS, you cannot publicly fundraise. It's against the law. You have to wait for that determination letter. And also, if people donate before that, let's say, they can't write it off as a tax write-off because that nonprofit doesn't have the determination letter. Okay, this is where it gets really hairy. So here you go, folks. I'm on the IRS website. Database search. Here you go, folks. I typed in targeted justice. There are two targeted justices, and we'll go from here. So the first targeted justice is the original targeted justice. It's called targeted justice. The EIN number is 825303968. It was founded in Peoria, Arizona, United States. And these are the databases here, okay? So I'm going to show you everything, folks. And I will send you the link so you can look at it yourself because I don't have the technology here. I'm not aware. I am just photographing my screen right now, folks. Okay, so here you go. Here's the determination letter for the first targeted justice. Okay, so we're going to open it up. You can download this. And we're going to go from here. Okay, and I will read this to you. So now the first targeted justice, it's going to take a minute because I've got a really slow laptop. Here it is. It was stamped June 3rd, 2018. Okay, I'm going to increase the size here so you can see it. I'm going to increase the size here. Oh, 19, my mistake. Targeted just 2, it was stamped. Okay, so here you go. Here's the customer service, contact information, the period ending December 31. It is a public charity, public. It requires that they complete the 990 or 990 EZ or 99N Registered? Yes. Effective date of exemption is March 27, 2018. So that technically they were not permitted to publicly fundraise before that date. Okay? So now let's get out of this. This is the determination letter. The determination letter, everybody that applies for a nonprofit has to wait patiently from the IRS to receive their determination letter. Okay, so we're going to click on here. This is the public data. This tells you what kind of a nonprofit they are. Targeted Justice, Peoria, Arizona. Okay. I'm sorry, it's taking a while here. You see my little wheel spinning around and around and around. So again, this is about the nonprofit status because people have asked me, okay, so here you go, folks. This is now the deductibility code. This is important. It's a PC. That PC means public charity. Public charity. This is a deductibility limitation. 50%, 60% for cash contributions, okay? These are the different codes here. So this is a private operating foundation, PF, a private foundation, and then you've got groups, and then the lodge. Yeah, this is the Freemasons here, but where it says lodge, a domestic fraternal society operating under the lodge system, but only if the contribution is to be used exclusively for charitable purposes. 30%. This is what the Freemasons are. They are under the IRS 501c3 lodge determination, okay? Targeted justice, the first targeted justice is or was a public charity, okay? So now we're going to go back here and we're going to click on their Form 990N. This is their tax return. Every nonprofit is required annually to file this. If you do not file it for 3 years, you can have your tax exemption removed from you. Okay, so here's the first e-postcard. The period was for the year of 2019. The organization name, Targeted Justice. And look at the principal office's name. Susan Olson, Lynbrook, New York. Does that name sound familiar, folks? Susan Olson was named a plaintiff in the Targeted Justice, Inc. lawsuit. Okay? And here's the URL. It's the same URL for both nonprofits. Okay, now it's saying gross receipts not greater than $50,000, but we don't know that. They've never been public about their receipts. We've never seen a profit and loss statement. And a public charity is supposed to post that information for all of us to see. Okay, so this is the first targeted justice. I want everybody to see this, the tax period 2019, which means that 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 3 years have passed, and there is no other tax filing, folks. So you can ask, and they are required by IRS law that if you ask them for their 990, they are required to give it to you within 30 days. Otherwise, they can lose their tax exempt status. So there you go, folks. Targeted justice. The principal officer is Susan Olson for Targeted Justice in Arizona. Now let's click on this new Targeted Justice. Targeted Justice, Inc. This is the EIN number, 884013099. This is the new Targeted Justice. Look here, folks, okay? So here is the determination letter. And you notice there are no tax filings yet. They have not filed any taxes yet. No returns. Determination letter. Targeted Justice, Inc., Houston, Texas, United States. EIN 884013099. My laptop is taking a long time, and we'll get there, folks. So this is targeted as an Inc. Inc. means incorporated, okay? It is a corporation. And the reason nonprofits will incorporate is to protect their officers from personal lawsuits, okay? So here is the determination letter. Okay, folks, we're going to click on this. It's going to download. I already downloaded it last night, folks. I already read this information. I was aghast, but not totally surprised, because I had requested a copy of the tax returns from Susan Olson about 2 years ago, and I was ignored. If a charity refuses to give you their information, they're not on the up and up, folks. They are not on the up and up, okay? My nonprofit, everything's online. I mean, everything's online. Okay, here, let's pull up this letter. It's taking a while, the determination letter here, folks. And of course, the computer's going to freeze up now. Yep, it's freezing up now. But let's see, it's going to take a bit. So here is Targeted Justice Inc. EIN 88401309, Houston, Texas. So there are two targeted justices. There's Targeted Justice in Arizona. The principal officer is Susan Olson, who's named plaintiff in the current lawsuit. And I find it ironic that in the current lawsuit, the photos that they always present are Midge Mathis's face. But there are thousands of targeted people across the United States that are burned, including myself. Every time I've ever provided any kind of evidence to Richard Lighthouse, he has discredited and discounted everything I've ever sent. It sounds like a gimmick. It sounds like a, I don't know. Do they only want fake targets in the lawsuit? And I'm not saying that they're fake. I mean, we all know that many of those people are targeted. But some of them we've never heard of before. And you want to know why we've never heard of them before? I'll tell you why, folks. I'll tell you why. And see, I've downloaded it yesterday. See, my computer is acting up now, because I'm speaking out loud, and the powers that be are probably in my computer. They don't want you to see this stuff. But what I'm going to tell you while this is attempting to pull up is the determination letter was for 2022. That means that Targeted Justice Inc. should not have been fundraising publicly before that date. Okay? It says that it's loading. And what you're going to find is that this new Targeted Justice Inc. is not a public charity. It is a private foundation, which means that it has a small group of contributors. It is less transparent. A public charity is bound by transparency. So here you go, folks. Targeted Justice Inc. The date here, 9/13/2022. The accounting period ends September 30th, which means, yes, they are required to complete a 990 PF. So they were supposed to have completed one, and it should have been posted somewhere. See, it says the effective date of exemption, because, it takes a long time when you apply. You can see 2020 to 2022. Look at how long that took for them. But it's probably because this is a private foundation. You see here? PF. 990 PF required. It's not a public charity, folks. That means they can conceal a lot of information, okay? And we're going to scroll down here. Let's scroll down. So here, folks, I'll read it. We are pleased to tell you, we determine you're exempt from federal tax under the IRS Section 501c3. Donors can deduct contributions they made under the IRC Section 170. You are qualified to receive tax-deductible bequests, devices, transfers, or gifts under Section 2055, 2106, or 2522. This letter could help resolve questions on your exempt status. Please keep it for your records. Okay? We determined you're a private foundation within the meaning of Section 509A. You are required to file Form 990-PF, return of private, not public, private foundation, or Section 4947A1, trust treated as a private foundation annually, whether or not you have income or activity during the year. If you don't file the required return or notice for 3 consecutive years, your exempt status will be automatically revoked. Now that sentence is the same for targeted justice. The one in Arizona, that's for all nonprofits. You need to file. If you don't file for 3 consecutive years, your exemption status will be automatically revoked. So here you go, folks. That's the difference between Targeted Justice and Targeted Justice Inc. One is a public charity, and one is a private charity. Okay, folks, and let's go. Let's go find out some more here. We'll go find out some more about this private foundation. Okay? Let's see what about this private foundation, folks. I was told when I was moderating the Chief Damon Jones podcast, there was a subscriber or a person that kept talking about the private foundation, and she said, oh, you should set up a private foundation and set up a public one. I said, well, why would I do that? I'm a public charity. I don't care. I have nothing to hide. If you want to see what I spend on cat food, I'll be more than happy to show you what I spend on cat food. You notice how my screen disappeared, folks? It's all gone. You see that? My entire screen is gone. Everything is gone. This is what the criminals did. They gone. And you see that? You see how I'm glitching out? Did you see how my phone just glitched out? You see that, folks? It just glitched out. Now let's see, folks. Okay, we're going to go back here. I'm going to move this down so I can open up the nonprofit. What is the difference between a private foundation and a public charity? Every Section 501c3 organization is classified as either public or private charity. Private foundations and public charities are distinguished primarily by the level of public involvement in their activities. Public charities generally receive a greater portion. Look at this, folks. My computer is just totally flipping out. My laptop is totally flipping out. So public charities generally receive a greater portion of their financial support from the general public or governmental units and have a greater interaction with the public. A private foundation, on the other hand, is typically controlled by members of a family or a small group of individuals and derives much of its support from a small number of sources and from investment income. Because they are less open to public scrutiny, Private foundations are subject to various operating restrictions and to excise taxes for failure to comply with those restrictions. And under the tax law, Section 501c3 organization is presumed to be private foundation unless it requests and qualifies for a ruling determination as a public charity. Organizations that qualify for a public charity, that includes schools, churches, hospitals, medical research, publicly supported organizations, and I'll say like animal shelters, and certain supporting organizations. So that is the difference, folks. Targeted Justice in Arizona is a public charity. This new Targeted Justice Inc. that filed the lawsuit is a private foundation. It is a private foundation, right? So it is a private foundation, which means that it is typically controlled by members of a family or a small group of individuals and derives much of its support from a small number of sources and from investment income. So why are they publicly fundraising to pay for this lawsuit? I would venture to say that the targeted individuals community is not a small group of individuals. It's quite large. But a small group of individuals would be 17 plaintiffs. Now, that would be a small group of individuals. Now, I wonder why Susan Olson is able to be a person on Targeted Justice, and then she's a plaintiff in Targeted Justice, Inc. So is she part of the private foundation and part of the public charity? And why isn't Midge Mathis, whose photos are part of the lawsuit, how come she's not a plaintiff in the lawsuit? And how come her name isn't listed on the 990 for Targeted Justice in Arizona? They're the ones that founded it. Susan Olson did not find, she's not a founder of Targeted Justice. Why would they do something like that? It sounds a little fishy to me, folks. That's just my perspective. And these are the facts. I'm just reading to you the IRS determination between a private foundation and a public charity. And I know that when I moderated the Chief Damon Jones site, he frequently spoke about private foundations as being private, meaning that the members' names are not disclosed and stuff. Well, you know what? If you're donating to someone, you want to know who you're donating to and what they're doing with the money. With a private foundation, you have no access to that information. You only have access to that information with a public charity. Public charity has to disclose that. They can show you the invoices of what they're spending the money on, where the money's being donated to, what it's being used for. On the other hand, a private foundation is typically controlled by members of a family or a very